Hello, welcome to FM Corner. I'm Danny Koontz, your host. This episode and all episodes of FM Corner are brought to you by Windy City Equipment. We certainly want to say thank you to them for allowing us to do these podcasts for you. Today, my guest is Taylor Feinman. Taylor is the Director of Marketing and Recruitment for Gutknecht Construction. Did I say that right?
Gutknecht.
Gutknecht Construction,
Yeah.
sorry. My
No,
apologies.
you're fine. It gets
Out of
butchered all
Columbus.
the time.
Out of Columbus, Ohio. Taylor, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, Danny.
Thank you. Let's start as we always do. Talk a little bit about your career. Kind of where'd you start to where you are today?
So my career, I've been in 3 different industries so far. I started out during the pandemic. I did an internship in New York City for Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. I actually got the opportunity to be in the brand new Koch building, which was a phenomenal, testament to getting into my career.
Sure.
I was offered a full-time position after my internship, but I still had a semester left of school. So I came back to Columbus and finished out, graduated in December of 2020 with a bachelor's of science in integrated health studies and a minor in biology and chemistry. Upon graduation, I accepted a job offer from Maxim Healthcare. With that, I was recruiting home care nurses. And as stated, it was right in the midst of a pandemic. So it was very difficult to do because I don't know if you know anything about home care, but the rates are very, very low that we can offer. So I ended up getting the top recruiting status within 6 months of my time at Maxim Healthcare. And it just, my passion for it just wasn't there. I realized that I wanted to do something more creative and something that I could work with people a lot more than I was. So that's when Emily Dugan asked me to join the I View It team. With I View It, I took on a sales development role where my favorite thing to do, I would create emails, but I would make them stories, kind of showcasing I View It, but somehow would make it really creative. And I had a really great open rate on that. And within 3 months of being there, my dad had sat me down. He had just passed his NASCLA, which is a very intense exam in the construction industry, and it gives you the ability to be licensed in 12 different states. Through that, we were also on Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. So he needed my assistance on getting field crew members hired and onboarded, and even just, in mass amounts. So within my first year, my boss and I, Jennifer Green, averaged 25 hires per month for the Atlanta Airport parking decks. We did the North and South Terminal. So that's what brought me into Gutknecht. I was already doing their social media on this side, so the marketing role was really already written in the stars for me in that sense. But I've been with Gutknecht ever since, and now I actually am the president of ICRI, which is International Concrete Repair Institute. I am the president of Central Ohio. I am on the board for WIRE, which is Women in Restoration and Engineering, and I am a sitting chair member for the Women in ICRI on the international level.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your construction and company. You mentioned a little bit about the airport, but what type of business do you go after and what type of customers are you seeking?
So we have 2 separate sides of our business at Gutknecht. We have the general construction side. So that's really like if you think of hospitals, universities, all of those different things, we can do design, build, remodel. All of that is really subcontracted out. So we have great relationships with our subcontractors in order to give us the best price, to make sure that we're able to deliver these projects exactly how our clients want them. Then we have a separate side of the business where it's the concrete restoration side. All of that is 99% self-performed. So we'll do post-tension, waterproofing, deck coatings, demo and place back, all of those different things, but it's all done by us. We actually just received the President's Safety Award a couple weeks ago from icri on the construction restoration side, and it was such an accolade and is such a testament to our company culture. And I would say our clients on the restoration side are mainly, forensic engineers, could be any owners of parking garages, or even, property asset managers for those parking
Uh-huh.
garages are our main target.
And do you do it nationwide or regionally based?
Yeah, so we're pretty much nationwide. There's a couple places that we are not licensed in. That's another part of my role, is doing the licensing compliance. So I took my dad's NASCLA and got us licensed in all the states that we wanted to with that. And then once it expired, I took all of these states that we were able to get a license in with that. And there's tons of states that have reciprocity. So we have been, working really hard to make sure that we're getting in all the states that we possibly can. So we are in 21 states now, I believe. And that number is growing depending on what our clients come to us with projects.
Sure. And you mentioned that most of the time when you're doing the work, it's your people doing that.
Yeah.
Do you find from a customer base, self-performs what I call it, but is that important to a lot of customers, that it's actually the company, it's not you sign up with someone and someone else ends up doing the work?
Yeah, I think it really gives us an edge, because, again, it's a very specialty contracting situation. So for us, it's really great that we get to pick and choose our team. We know their strong suits, we know where they're going to do best, because some garages have heavy post tension. So we're going to put our post tension masters on that garage. Some are really good at coding. Some are really good at demoing. So it's really nice for us to be able to take our team's strong suits and develop a team to put on each project. And I think that
Sure.
our clients really appreciate that.
That's great. Great. You do director marketing, obviously, and it also says recruitment. Those are two kind of different jobs. What does that entail? Because marketing is obviously putting your name out and
Yeah.
addressing it and so on. Recruitment is finding all the right people, but it's two different kind of spaces. How do you handle both of those?
Well, I would say the marketing is great because, I have redeveloped our brand completely. So I handle all of the social media, all of the graphics, or any sort of, this is one of my favorite things, the emergency repair kit. It's for the conventions. It's actually a hangover kit. So I handle anything of that nature, as well as our website design, and just the word of mouth that goes out to our clients in other different areas that we do. So the recruiting side of things, it all meshes in. It doesn't seem like it would mesh in, but it does, because my job as a marketer is to sell not only our specialty contracting, but also our company culture. So knowing all of the people that are being onboarded with Gutknecht, and getting to talk to them and learning their stories and things, it makes it so much easier for me to sell our products and what we're doing, because I know these people and they're like family to me. So um, with the recruitment side, I do all of the onboarding and outreach to try and get people in the door. And then I work with our project management teams on where we need certain staffing. And, it's really a group and collected effort. It's not just all me, which I think is probably one of the greatest things, is that I have a very great team that I can rely on to help me get everyone through the door, through the process. And, we're constantly tweaking it to see how we can do it better. And yeah, so I think they all cohesively work together somehow. Yeah.
That's great. In the recruiting piece, and prior to retiring at Windy City, for a period of time, I helped out with interviewing for service techs. Uh, and I had never really done recruitment or anything like that before. And I'm always a gut person. Let's go by what my gut tells me. But you mentioned using other people. What I found was if I interviewed someone and I looked for little things to trigger good or not so good, during the conversation. And then I would go to someone else and say, I've just interviewed Joe, and it seems good. It almost seems too good. Will you speak with them and tell me, am I wrong or am I off? Do you do that sometimes to where you're interviewing someone and there's something that just triggers something to you, maybe a concern, but you don't know what it is, and you go to someone else to kind of validate for you?
Yeah, so it depends on the role that we're hiring for. Gutknecht, we really pride ourselves on allowing people to make this a career. So we don't necessarily always look at just the experience. We're going to want to look at their drive, their passion for safety culture, because those are things you can't teach. The technical side, we can easily teach that. So when it comes down to recruiting and things of that nature, we are very, very diligent on just letting them get out to the field and see what they can do. And then if, we're making sure that they can get through the process, because it's a very hard work. So that's really how we figure out if they're going to be a asset to the team, is really just getting them out to the field. Now, internal, we run through a series of interviews and things of that nature just to kind of weed out, because again, our company, everyone has teams and they love their team and everything, but we are legitimately like a family. So everyone has each other's backs. We want to make sure that everything is going and they can cohesively fit in our environment that we've created. So
Sure. Your techs, when you said they go out and how they learn, who teaches the techs or the workers? Is that your superintendents or
yeah,
whatever, or is
so
it someone else?
we have a couple different options with that. So we actually have a safety director that has his OSHA 510. So what he does is site-specific training. So if they're out on a site and they need to use a scissor lift and, a bobcat, he's going to go out and train every single individual on that site and make sure that they're fully trained up for that, because he can do that with his OSHA 510. As far
Sure.
as the demoing, putback, all of those different things, the superintendent does coach them on how to do and best practices, and they continue to do that throughout the project. So they oversee a lot of the different things that we're doing out on site, and they're making sure that everyone knows how to correctly handle what they're doing.
Sure, because these people are part of their team, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
responsible for them. So sure.
Absolutely.
No, that works.
Yeah.
That works. That's great. You spoke about working for Ivuit prior, which is how you and I met
Yeah.
at RIFA a few years ago. And I was early in my before I did podcasts, I just did lessons learned for Windy City. And I was just at the time that we met, that I met you and met Emily at RIFMA, just kind of getting started in doing the podcast and so on. And one of the things we talked about at the RIFMA conference was that as I got better on these podcasts and so on, I wanted to do one with each of you. And I did Emily's a couple of months ago and doing yours today. So I fulfilled my promise from a couple of years
Yes, you
ago
did.
that I promised. But kind of speak just a little bit about kind of the difference in changing companies. Obviously, you had a family involvement, which changes and so on. But, anytime people change jobs, there's a lot of plus, and sometimes there's some things that are not as great or challenges. Any challenges for you in changing, or was it just opportunity?
Honestly, it really came natural to me, the change in career. I think it really helped that my dad's relationship with Gutknecht predates me. So
Mm-hmm.
he started with Gutknecht in 1995, and I was born in 97. So I have grown up around all of our team members, and I mean, some of them still work for us today. So I think the culture and all of that, the hardest part for me was probably just learning the technical knowledge and verbiage of the construction industry. But I view it really set me up on how to do outreach and, start communicating with people and really doing that B2B selling. So I think that there was like a little bit of a transition period. I mean, I've been in the industry now, construction, for 5 years, and I feel like I've barely even scratched the surface on things there are to know. But I genuinely think it was very helpful to have been in, within earshot of my dad constantly talking about projects and things of that nature. So it was a pretty natural transition for me, but it was definitely a change for sure.
Sure, sure, obviously. Give me your biggest success and also your biggest regret so far with a very young career.
So my biggest success is probably just how I've developed my role with Gutknecht. So I also lead all of the housing coordination. So when our team is traveling out of state, we are looking. Normally, people put their crew members in hotels, and I couldn't do that. I'm like, they're away from home for a long period of time. I want to be able to give them a home away from home. So I am very much involved in the housing coordination as well as the prevailing wage and the business development. So throughout my time with Gutknecht, I actually in 2024 received the 40 Under 40 award from icri, which was
Awesome.
probably my biggest, I have it on my desk. Like, I love that award.
Sure.
I am so grateful to have gotten it. And I think that it says a lot about my commitment to the industry. And it honestly means so much to me because it means that people in the industry also are respecting me along with our team with Gutknecht. So I think that's probably my biggest, woohoo, go Taylor
Sure.
moment. Is just, just the little award I have on my desk that kind of reminds me every day why I do what I do. And my biggest regret would probably be when I first came into the industry, I was very nervous to speak up about anything because, again, I didn't know much technical stuff. So, what I've done in these last few years to kind of get over that hump is really just partnering with all of these wonderful people in the industry and A, learning, but B, putting in my strong suit. So maybe my strong suit isn't technical knowledge, but I know how to market it. So I have been very successful in helping not only Gutknecht, but so many other companies learn how to showcase and kind of get their name out there in a better way, especially with icri and Wire.
I think that's really important no matter what industry that you're in, is one, kind of taking self check of yourself of what do I know and what do I not know. And I was a facility guy for all my life, for 40 plus years. And I'm not technical. It's not what I do. And I learned, and I knew I didn't know, but I learned. I would go and I would listen to conversation between air conditioning people, and I would listen or go to meetings with people that did refrigeration or cooking equipment repairs, and I listened. So I would learn certain things so that I could be in a conversation, and I may not know all the details, but I didn't need to. My job was to hire the right person and make sure they got it done, and not try to act like I knew stuff when I didn't. I would say, okay, here's our problem. How are you going to fix it? What do you want to do? I'm not telling you what to do. That's first, I don't know. Second, I'm paying you. You figure it out, and you tell me. You know, and I think that's very important, and it's something you spoke to. It's learning and trying to get better every day, but also being very upfront of there are things I don't know how to do, or I don't know enough, and I want to keep learning. Where people get in trouble is they don't know, and they try to tell you they do, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
always my answer. I'm
So
like, I don't know, but I actually have someone that can answer that question better for you. I am always
yeah,
one to lead them to a path for the answer if I don't know it. So I think that that's really
that's
where
right.
delegating tasks and, you know, knowing where you can draw the line, because especially in construction, it's very important to make very educated decisions.
Sure. And congrats on your 40 under 40 award.
Thank you.
That is awesome. I mean, when people do work and whether it's construction, it's facilities and so on, there's a lot of things that don't go well. And the facility side, I always said you never do it fast enough, quick enough, cheap enough. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Doesn't matter what you do. But you look for the little wins, and what really you strive for is something you mentioned, which is respect.
Hmm.
Do you have the respect of the people you work with, people you work for, and the people in the industry? If you can get that, you hit a home run.
Yeah.
That's what's critical. But you've got to work at it and know that there's a lot of things that go wrong. It's part of the world. It's how it happens. If it's easy, everybody do it, but they don't.
100%. 100%. I couldn't have said it better.
Name one thing for me that you used to not be good at, but you've worked really hard at it to get better. Maybe not an expert, but you've come from A to B.
Yeah, again, it comes down to the technical stuff. I mean, I took the CSRT, which is the concrete surface repair technician. I took that
Mhm.
training, which gave me a lot of knowledge on the concrete repair and different things, what it may look like, different verbiage that may be used, and all of these things. And then again, just like listening to other people in the industry. I mean, I'm listening to suppliers and their issues, because as a contractor, we want to make sure that we have a good relationship with our suppliers. I'm listening to engineers and what issues they have with contractors and suppliers, and how they are looking for business, so that way I can cohesively get everyone involved together. And that, I think, is one of my main things that I've done really well, is getting everyone to work together and kind of like looping in different people with each other to make sure that we all have a great system to be backed up together, and just all work in unison, because it's very important, especially in the construction industry. We need to be able to have all these partners and different things, so we can make sure that we're giving the best quality work possible.
Sure. And I think when you have good vendors, good vendor partners in your network, is to talk to them openly and say, what can we do better that helps you?
Yep.
You know, I think would be great.
Yeah, and when you go to somebody like that and you say, "Hey, I really have enjoyed working with you. Where are we falling short?" It's always such a opening conversation. It's never, "Oh, you did this wrong, you did this wrong." It's always, "This is what you did really great, and this is what I'd like to see the next time we work together." And I think it falls on all ends of the spectrum. I mean, you can look, I wanted you to finish this project a little bit earlier. How can we do this next time? Or, there was so many change orders put in on this project. How can we make sure that we don't do that again? It's really just, it's figuring each other out, especially with us, going national at this point. It's a lot different because our name is not known like it is in Columbus. Our name's not necessarily as well known.
Mhm.
So for us to be able to work with
Sure.
some of these new engineering firms, we really, really make sure that we're tailoring our expertise to each client, and we want to know what they're looking for from us. So that way we can work with them again. So
Sure. Some of your best information comes from your vendor partners. I mean, if you ask them and you genuinely want to know, they'll tell
well,
you.
some of the best information and also some of the greatest employees, like we can
Sure.
use our suppliers and we could say, hey, we're looking for this role to fill because they know everything. They're out in the field, they're working with all of these different contractors and things. Are like, oh, I was actually just talking to Joe Schmo yesterday and he's looking for a different position. And so it's all just about creating those partnerships and collaborating with all sides of the business to see how you can deliver a quality project.
Sure. Absolutely. Talk about your mentors. I think I can guess one, but
Yeah.
but
So I
mentors.
actually have three that I immediately thought of. The first one, her name is Monica Rourke. I met her at ICRI in 2022 as my first convention. She is a WBE waterproofing contractor based out of Connecticut. And she has so many accolades. I would probably be on here for an hour listing them out, but she is so wonderful. The way that she leads with grace and grit all at the same time, it's so admirable to me. And she has consistently shown up for me anytime I have any questions or, just want to talk shop, like she's there. So she's definitely been a huge inspiration for me, and she was actually the first woman in ICRI. So there's a photo of her with all these men and then Monica right in the middle. So I genuinely I adore her, and I think that she has been just a wonderful mentor for me, and she's definitely someone I look up to. My second would be Amy Lamb Woods. She is a forensic engineer based out of Chicago. Um, she actually founded WIRE, the Women in Restoration and Engineering, and she has taught me so much about community and just women in the industry. I mean, we're a male dominated industry, so being a woman
Sure.
is not always the easiest thing. Although I have not had any issues with it, I know a lot of people do. So um, she has taught me the community, and just she puts on free webinars every single month that are, you can get continuing education credits and things of that nature. So she has further, heightened my education in the industry as well. So I really appreciate her. And then lastly, of course, is my father.
Sure.
His drive, his commitment to Gutknecht, and just honestly, him as a person, like he treats every single one of our employees like their family. He flies out to all the different job sites, takes the superintendents to dinners. He actually directly project managed Atlanta's airport because it was such a big project.
Sure.
Um, and he's very inspiring. He started out as an intern with Gutknecht and has worked his way all the way up to being the president. And you know, our safety culture, every part of our culture, it leads back to him, and it's very inspiring.
That's awesome. Awesome. Give me the best piece of advice you've been given so far in your career.
Um, my best piece of advice, honestly, it came from Monica. She said, "You just be you, just be you." And it has really stuck with me because I want to always make sure that I'm showing up my authentic self everywhere I go. And I think that that has taken me so far because I have a very big personality. So, um, just being myself has been really kind of a breath of fresh air for me because I don't have to go somewhere and pretend to be this certain person or that
Right.
certain person. I'm enough the way I am. So I think that that has been probably my greatest piece of advice, and I have continued to live by that through my journey with Gutknecht and honestly throughout my career, really.
Sure. Great. Most people see fake. They like real. You know,
Yeah,
they understand it. They get it. That's how they do it.
yeah.
So they like real. It's important. My last question. What's your go-to saying?
So anytime anyone asks how I'm doing, I always say, living the dream. And people don't know if I'm being serious or not. But, my life's not perfect by any means. But it's a statement that I have gratitude for the life that I do live because I probably am, in fact, living someone's dream. Even on the hard days,
Mhm.
my life is probably something that people look up to. So that is my go-to saying. All of my teammates, when they ask me, they're like, "Let me guess, living the dream." I'm like, "Yes, always, guys." Like, glad you know. But I'm very blessed. I have such a great support team, and I have a 2-year-old. She'll be 2 in a couple weeks. So
Great.
she is such a blessing, and I'm constantly living the dream no matter what's going on. I think it's important to just show gratitude for where we're at in life and know that somebody probably has it worse.
That's a great answer and a great way for us to finish today. Taylor, that's all my questions. Thank you so much for the time that's spent, and thanks to everyone for listening to FM Corner again, brought to you by Windy City Equipment. We look forward to speaking with you again next time. Taylor, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Danny.